All right, good morning. So before we get into how you're supposed to get remote support from me or any other engineer that has their own platform, any other IT engineer that has their own platform, or uses any remote support software, let's get a disclaimer out. Okay? And let's increase the size of that on your screen as well. Okay? Do not give persons that you do not know personally or have had some interaction with, do not give them or anyone that you do not know or trust remote access to your device, your PC, your laptop, your phone, your tablet, regardless of what it is. Do not give them access. Anyone that you do not know or trust will likely be attempting to steal your personal information, your credit card details, or your passwords, or all of the above. Do your due diligence before allowing anyone on your system. Right? So now, with that out of the way, let's get into how to get remote support specifically from me or from any other persons associated with me that might be acting on my behalf. Right? Again, if you do not talk to me directly at first, I'm not going to be held responsible for whatever happens. No. First off, you go to the website, which is start without, confirm, continue, and continue. There we go. So you head over to carlosthomas.net, click on remote. If you're accessing it from your phone or such, you'll see this hamburger menu that's here. You click on that and then click on remote. If your screen resolution is big enough, you'll be able to see remote within the menu. From here, there are only two items that I use, either Rustdesk or remote utilities. Either one is going to be about the same size, around 20 megs. So I'm going to actually click on Rustdesk first, and then the first option that's here. If you are using a Mac or any other device that you need me to connect to, you'll have to get in touch with me directly for details on how to do that. All right, so I'm going to go back to remote here, and I'm going to download remote utilities. I want both pieces of software because I want to show how you get remote support with both. Now, regardless of what you download or which one you download, anything that is downloaded to your system can always be found in your downloads folder. There are two ways to get there, primarily. Once your downloads are complete in your browser, regardless of the browser, whether it is Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Google Chrome, Opera, Brave, any browser. Once you download it and it comes up as an option here, you can either run directly or you can click on the folder icon that's here, which will open your downloads folder. Another way to find downloads, especially if you have downloaded this before, any of the remote tools, you go to downloads and your files are going to be right there. Now, for any tool that you are using for remote support, if elevated permissions are going to be required, it's best to right click and then go run as administrator. If you don't do that, then there might be cases where certain other software that you ask me to install might need elevated privileges and won't be able to do so. You click yes at that point, it will load Rustdesk. Now, you'll get this here, which you can then install. If I'm going to have to be rebooting your system or doing any other things on your system that, or if I'm not just doing a one-time support that I'm looking at something, you install. If it's a case where I'm only going to be going on to look at something for you and you're going to be present for the entirety of the process, whether it is software install, reboots, anything that needs to be done, you don't need to install the software. You can just run it, and when we're done, each time I'll ask you to open the software again. Otherwise, you install. Then accept and install, which will also create an icon on the desktop that you can open at any time. It will also create an icon which will auto start in your taskbar So you don't need to create the desktop icon unless you specifically want to. If for some reason RustDesk does not work on your system, right? Right click on agent, run as administrator, hit yes, and wait for that to come up. Remote utilities is going to probably give you some other things. It gives you the warning that it gives someone else access to your PC. Only proceed if you've been asked to do so by someone you trust. Again, similar to the disclaimer that I was given at first. So you've read the policy, and you hit continue. Once you do that, you're given your ID and password. Very similar to the ID and password. Let's close these. The ID and password given by RustDesk. Once RustDesk has a green ready here, and remote utilities has a green check mark here, whichever one you are using, provide the ID and password, and that will grant me or whoever is acting on my behalf access to your system in order to perform actions for you remotely. Now, if either of these happen to not work, then you'll definitely have to get in touch, give a call, WhatsApp, whatever it may be, and we can take it from there. But again, do not grant access to your system if it's someone that you do not know, someone that you have not personally asked to go onto your system. Banks, your mechanic, lottery companies, none of these places are going to call you for remote access to your system. Don't do that. Your office might do so, but again, you should always vet the information. Always check, always verify, always validate. Right? Once these information, ID and password, is provided to whoever you're getting remote support from, they should be able to connect to your system, and from there perform the actions that you requested. Again, I know that's repetitive, and it's also repetitive about the whole security aspect, but because of how things have been these days, it's a necessity. So that's all you need to know, and hope you have a good one.